Hi and welcome to Lion's Den Tarot with me, Daniel, and in this episode I'm aiming to give you a tarot reading with regards to your love life and your relationships wherever they are at the moment. For this episode I've arranged tarot cards into 4 piles, and I've worked hard behind the scenes to make sure that not only you're in the right place at the right time, but to try to ensure that this reading is as accurate and as validating as it possibly can be. Now, because I've arranged them into 4 piles, this is where it's going to rely on your intuition a little to choose the right pile for yourself. And for that, I'll reveal the piles in the upcoming cut. But to help you along, what you're going to need to do is just relax. Breathe deeply, recenter yourself, because that's what's going to be required. So take some deep breaths, and I'll count them in. We'll count down to the reveal. Close your eyes if you need to. Imagine you're breathing out all your worries and all your troubles on the exhale. And we'll start to count down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and take your pick. Usually it's the first one that enters, the first one that draws you, the first pile that draws your attention is the one that you want. Anything after that, the second thought, the immediate second thought, is usually the ego kicking in, and that's usually a little bit more muddled and indecisive. But don't worry if you've struggled. I am going to try and timestamp these in the description, so perhaps you need to watch it through and just see which ones resonated with you. So without further ado, for anyone that's interested, I've used the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kran and the Romance Angel Oracle cards by Doreen. So let's have a look at what we've got. Pile number 1, we've got love yourself first. Okay, so this usually suggests needing time alone, or it can suggest being more assertive in a relationship. This can also suggest taking care of your own interests or delegating more time to be spent reflecting, or more time on your hobbies or other personal interests, which can apply, I suppose, to being single or if you're in a relationship. Perhaps this is signifying a time for healing or a time for letting go. So I feel this might be indicating a relationship that has broken up. I feel that might be quite strong, or is about to, or needs to. And the advice is to go and reflect, read the lessons, and go and work on yourself. Okay, so let's see what else we've got. So we've got the 7 of Cups reversed. So this might indicate, as previously mentioned, a need to reassess your personal values and expectations. Perhaps a need to develop on some weaknesses. This might be indicating using a relationship where there was either cheating or deception going on, or there was some kind of fantasy or illusions and fantasies that are quite big with this card. So maybe both was going on. Whatever was going on may have led you to lose touch with reality or your identity a little. Perhaps you don't do the things that you perhaps used to enjoy doing anymore, or you might not have even been attending to your other responsibilities, because whatever was going on may have completely absorbed you mentally and emotionally. So this advises you to take stock, get a reality check, and really fix any issues, particularly where your inner being is concerned, as you might have been trying to compensate for a feeling of emptiness or unhappiness via a relationship, which might have backfired in some way. If you are single, perhaps this it could mean that you're being too rigid, or you're sticking to an unrealistic notion of what you want your partner to be like. Perhaps you're basing them all on an ex-partner, and this would advise you to loosen up and realign your expectations. Perhaps the advice here is to date people you wouldn't usually go for, or give people more chance, or perhaps the truth is you don't actually know what it is you want. So perhaps you just need to heed the message of the first card. Okay, stop dating, stop chasing, stop trying to fill your cups of happiness with illusions, and just be yourself for a while until your mind and your desires become less cluttered and clearer. Okay, so let's have a look what else we've got. One moment. Okay, a past life relationship. So this is a big indicator that your partner or your ex-partner, wherever you are at the moment, go back lifetimes. Perhaps you keep on doing the same things because you've got a lesson to learn here. Perhaps you need to learn to be more patient with one another. Okay? Or perhaps you need to listen to logic over your emotions, and maybe you just need to end this relationship altogether. If you have split up, then perhaps you need to learn to forgive, learn how to heal. Perhaps spend time, as mentioned before, finding your own empowerment, or spend time building up your own self-esteem a little before you can move on stronger and lead yourself ultimately to something better, and not get caught into repetitive cycles. Okay, let's look what else we've got. Okay, so it's the Judgment card. So this is a major arcana, so it's going to be important. Okay, and this usually suggests, much like the other cards, this is a time for renewal, or it could signify this is decision time. You've more than likely been feeling something brewing, an awareness growing inside you. Okay, and you might have known the truth on this matter, whatever it is, for some time now. This may indicate a disagreement or a past hurt has resurfaced or is about to, and this asks for you to forgive this person and yourself, as this card's big on forgiveness, and it's big on moving forward, which is usually the only way. The only way really to move on is to forgive and let go. Okay, so you want to let go of, if there's any resentment there or any bitterness, you need it going. Okay. If you are in the relationship, then perhaps you or your partner are judging yourselves too harshly, and just need to maturely talk through problems without being judgmental or without getting into a fight. Perhaps simply talking through the problems, reasserting boundaries, dealing with the situation as it is, and forgiving one another for any hurt may bring some fresh energy into the relationship. Perhaps relationship counselling would be good. Or perhaps it's just time to make the judgment and walk away. Spend some time healing, as mentioned before. Spend some time building yourself up again. So ultimately you can move forward with a renewed understanding and strength. This might indicate others are judging your relationship as well. So you're advised again to rise above it, not get into confrontations, and make up your own opinions. Okay. If you are single, this may indicate you're being too hasty in judging your suitors, and perhaps this is suggesting you need to take time to get to know them a little better, and perhaps be more mindful of how you come across initially, and introduce yourself, as it's rare to get a good second chance at making a good first impression. Okay, so try not to be too forceful or judgmental. Just be aware that you might still be hurting from something in the past. You don't want that coming across. Okay, let's have a look what else we've got. Oh yeah, okay. So it says release your ex. Let's get that closer so you can see it. Perhaps your current relationship is suffering because you keep daydreaming about your ex, or perhaps you're judging them based on your ex, or perhaps you're judging potential partners based on your ex. You might have just split up with someone, which is what I feel what's going on here. And this is asking you to let go, because whatever this is it's no longer serving you, okay? There seems to be a big theme about this spread so far, about release and forgiveness and about moving forward and clearing any attachments. So if you've just ended a relationship, or if you're thinking about an old relationship that ended, then the advice is to let go, because there was probably a good reason for it ending in the first place, okay? Let's move on to the last card. Okay, so it's the Four of Swords. So this again calls or signifies a current retreat, whereby you can restore and renew yourself mentally, okay? This calls for reflection, rest. You might have just left a situation that involved harsh words which keep going round and round in your mind, and this asks you to step back, to forgive, release, and to get in touch with yourself again and pursue old interests, so you can start making new plans and preparations to put this all behind you. Going back to the first card, you really can't begin to love and engage with others and form actual productive relationships until you've addressed yourself and built yourself up. If there is an ongoing relationship here, then perhaps you or your partner need to step back and maybe have a break before the relationship explodes in stress. And if you are single, this could indicate you're currently recovering from a fairly rocky breakup. Or you might find yourself needing to heal after a bad relationship or some kind of turmoil. Perhaps this is trying to say, as with the first card, you need to deal with a fear of loneliness. You need to work on yourself a bit, or maybe a fear of something, a fear of abandonment or rejection. Or perhaps you just need to contemplate what it is you truly want before you start jumping back into a relationship and making all the same mistakes again. Often the best people come into our lives when we're not looking, and when we've got busy with other interests or pursuits. Plus they tend to stick also. So you really have to get yourself into a happy and fulfilled state first, and then you'll attract the better. Otherwise you're just going to go round and round in circles, and you'll have to deal with this lesson again until you get the message. Okay? So let's have a look at the numerology. So we've got a 7, a 2, or 20, and a 4. So I feel this is pointing to a relationship, and there might have been a surprise change or an ending, and it's meant to be for the better. And if you can remain optimistic or get yourself back into that state, and things are going to improve for you. Okay, I feel the 7 and the 4 balancing act going on here is about getting control over your feelings and uniting your head with your heart and working on your emotions. Plus the 7-4 combination seems to have a large mental health connection also. Okay, and plus 7 and 4 is the 11, so that usually ties in with illusions. So you might have had something come to the surface, or you might be looking at how you deal with or think about relationships a little differently. Okay, I've heard the 2-0 combination here being coined as the spiritual peacemaker or the spiritual unifier, and the 0 seems to suggest options and potential, or perhaps a decision needs to be made, much like the overall theme of the Judgment card. Okay, but this is the important one. And the 2, with a 2, that's a strong indicator of a relationship and the relationships to ourselves. Plus it has a big emotional connection, so this is perhaps suggesting you need to make peace in these areas before things can improve and you can invite in the better. Okay, so let's move on to pile 2. Thank you cards. Just put them out of the way. Okay, so what we got? Okay, it says make the effort. You can see that there. So this talks about taking action of some sort, or steps on what it is you've been repetitively thinking about or feeling about. And this might be saying the universe is trying to give you a nudge on something. Or perhaps it's saying you need some more motivation or energy in some capacity. So let's see what else we've got. Okay, it's the Son of Cups. So, if you are single, this could indicate you're about to be swept off by your feet. You could do. By someone charming. It may be a water sign. So perhaps a Pisces. You may be an artist of sorts or relating to the previous card. This could indicate you need to make the move on someone. So maybe someone like this that you're interested in. Okay? If you are in a relationship, this can signify you need to talk about deepening commitments or proposals, as the Knights of the Suits usually signify action again, much like the previous card talks about. Plus, and like the previous card, this again could be suggesting you need to act on your intuition, because it's a highly intuitive card. Or perhaps this suggests you need more zest in the current relationship, or perhaps in your dating life if you are single. If you are single, perhaps this suggests taking action in getting out there a little bit and socialising, because this character can be a bit shy if this maybe is pointing to you. This person is usually very sensitive, is often very intuitive, as I say, and charming. He may get a little moody or emotional from time to time, but more than often he possesses a kind heart, an untapped creative or artistic talents, perhaps even untapped psychic abilities. So if this is pointing to you, the advice is to get to work, make an effort, perhaps enrolling in a creative or spiritual course, or joining a creative or artistic group, or simply taking action in these areas might lead you to new love, friendship, personal fulfillment in the near future. Okay, so I think action in these areas is quite key at the moment. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, again, it says it's playfulness. Okay, so this is signifying you need to get out there, try new things, activities. Perhaps if you are single, you'll meet someone along this path. If you are in a relationship, then perhaps this is suggesting you need to try and bring the romance and the spark back into it by planning date nights or days out together to help elevate the mood and your energy levels, because relationships need this to thrive, don't they? And perhaps, as signified from the Son of Cups, a creative outlet for you both might rekindle the flame. So let's see what else there is. Okay, so it's the Death card. So this is a major arcana, so it's going to be quite serious. It doesn't usually indicate a physical death. It just means a change or a transformation of some kind. That's what's needed. And it'll suggest that old behavioural patterns need to be changed if you want things to move forward, particularly in your love life. Okay? This could either be warning that if a situation doesn't change, or if the old ways don't die back, then either your relationship or your dating life is going to become very stagnant. Okay? It might be indicating some sort of hesitation or resistance here. If you are single, perhaps you need to start rebuilding your self-esteem, getting out more and make the effort as suggested by the first card. Perhaps take action on creative endeavours as discussed, or join a group that involves some kind of activity or exercise that will help to revitalise yourself and attract a partner. This might even suggest an old relationship you thought had finished long ago might resurface and rekindle as a result. I think it's basically saying get out there and rebuild yourself. Let the new in. Okay, let's move on, see what else we've got. Yeah, so it says free yourself. You can see that there. This might suggest you've fallen into a rut, okay? It's saying it's time to take back control. Perhaps this suggests you're feeling trapped or repressed in some way. Perhaps you feel your current relationship, or even the relationship to yourself or to your life, is limited or restrained in some way. Ask yourself, in what way do I feel restrained or limited? And then trust your intuition. And perhaps, as mentioned before, you just need to get out there more and have fun pursuing your interests and rekindle your love for life and yourself before your love life can improve. So let's see what we've got next. Okay, so it's the Father of Wands reversed. So again, this can signify restlessness, a lack of control, a lack of discipline, or a lack of motivation perhaps, a lack of creativity. Perhaps this is signifying you feel powerless or restricted in some way again, or perhaps you're doing this to yourself for some reason. If you are in a relationship, this can signify you and your partner need to think and discuss what you want to get out of the relationship and commit to getting it rather than sitting on the sidelines, okay? There's a big theme here about action. If you are single, then perhaps this again signifies you need to lighten up, take action and getting out into the world. Or perhaps this is signifying the person you're currently interested in has commitment issues or lacks confidence maybe. Perhaps they're a little shy or sensitive. This could be even directed at you. If you feel this is directed at someone else, then you may have to take it slow and tread carefully with them, or you might scare them away, okay? Or perhaps you just need to show them that you are independent and can have fun on your own, as that they may have a fear of becoming trapped or overburdened with someone who is dependent on them for happiness. Okay, let's move on. So pile 3, forgiving and learning. Okay, so this will probably be the main theme for this spread. And this card talks about releasing negative emotions, healing, learning to forgive others, learning to forgive yourself, so you can change to healthier relationship patterns, or to healthier and more productive circumstances, people and situations. Okay, so let's see what else. Let's see what else we've got. Okay. So we've got the 3 of Swords reversed. So this is generally never a welcome sight, because it can signify heartache, unhappiness, betrayal, affairs, which might have caused you a lot of upset and mental anguish recently. And this lesson, this might have been sent to you as a lesson of sorts, because I know the 3s are the big on lessons and learning. The fact that it's reversed is either signifying you're currently getting over something that had caused you sorrow, or it can indicate you're resolving the issue and are moving on, or this can signify perhaps you're repressing it, which may be leading to mental or physical health problems. Okay, so if this is the case, then you need to heal. You need to heal. You need to heed the message of the first card. Learn from it. Okay. And if you are having trouble, then you might need to consider getting professional help, perhaps from your doctor or a counsellor, or at least you need to share this problem with someone you trust, because depression surrounds this card. If you are in a relationship, then perhaps this signifies something had upset you, and you're moving into a period of forgiveness, and you're starting to communicate more openly, starting to be friendly again. Perhaps you may have had a break and now you're starting to reconcile, or perhaps this signifies you're holding on to the grief or the pain, as perhaps your partner has cheated and you're unable to forgive them, in which case you need to seriously ask yourself whether this is worth continuing with. And you can't hold on to it, you can't move forward. You can't continue to use whatever event it was as a beating stick, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to keep revisiting the pain and get stuck in limbo. If you are currently single, this can signify you are healing from a breakup or a divorce. Perhaps you're emerging from a place of loneliness and isolation, feeling more optimistic about your future. Alternatively, this can signify you feeling a deep sense of resentment and sorrow from a bad breakup, and this advises you let go, and it advises you to seek help if needed. Okay, I know some people can find this difficult, but if you can get help and stick to a healing program of sorts, then you'll find you'll open up a whole new doorway and chapter for yourself. So at least consider help as an option. But either way, you're going to have to heal from this in some capacity. I feel this is a relationship. It's talking about a relationship whereby this heartache, betrayal, affairs as keeps going on. And I think this might be being repressed for some reason. Okay, so let's move on, see what else we've got. Yeah, okay, so it says retreat. So this is suggesting, if you're in a relationship, this might be suggesting that you need to spend time alone for a while. Perhaps you've already found yourself in this position. If you're in a relationship, this can signify spending some quality time together. Perhaps going away for the weekend or together, or going on a vacation. Perhaps doing an activity together, or even if it's a long drive, this might help you and your partner to reconcile and rekindle your love for one another. Perhaps other people and their opinions are causing confusion, because that surrounds the Three of Swords also, and this can suggest there might be some third party meddling, and you may need to get away from it or switch off from it altogether. If you are single, this can advise you spend some quality time to reconnect to yourself, so you can analyse and reflect on your true feelings and thoughts, perhaps rekindle some old passions and interests, so you'll be in a better position and a happier position to attract better relationships or circumstances to yourself in the near future. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we've got the Daughter of Wands. So for a relationship, this may indicate there was a setback, and this advises you to go back to the basics, as just discussed, reignite the fun and passion, leaving anything that had upset you in the past, so you can move forward, obviously with new boundaries. That's important. Or this can indicate your partner's attention has gone elsewhere and now they're just being selfish. So it might be asking you to call it quits altogether. This can indicate there was some disappointing news of some sort. It might have come from a young fire sign. This could be simply gossip, okay, or rumours. So I would advise you don't do anything impulsive here. And if the rumours are true, then there's a very good chance you're about to find out soon enough. Anyway, okay. If you are single, this could again indicate you don't make any sudden moves, particularly in the relationship department, which may even include ideas of getting back with an ex. And it's probably best advised you retreat, release any resentment, and work on yourself a little and on your passions and your interests before deciding to move on to anything or anyone else. Okay, In terms of dates and astrology, this card seems to indicate spring. So your situation and anything relating to this information may have become apparent or had started to kick in from April. So have a think about what was going on there. Okay, so let's move on. What else we got? Yeah, okay, so it says pay attention to red flags. So it speaks for itself, doesn't it, really? Get that right there. This is saying that the divine energies and the signs from your circumstances have been trying to warn you or show you that something isn't right, and this may be indicating a habit or a pattern of dishonesty or disrespect had emerged in your current relationship. Alternatively, if you are in a relationship, this could signal, as with the previous cards, that now's the time for a mutual and open discussion to discuss the situation. Perhaps again, relationship counselling might help you here, or setting up new boundaries, or perhaps it's time to call this relationship off. If you are single, and as again with the previous cards, this advises you not to rush out at the moment, because if you do, then you might go out a little vulnerable and fall prey to someone with negative traits. And usually they don't come with signposts, do they? Usually they come and they seem brilliant and treat you well at the beginning before they start to become controlling and inconsistent. So if you've come across someone like that, I would say a good tell is to watch how they talk to others, especially anyone that's serving them, and listen to how they talk to their own family as well. And if there's anything that you're not comfortable with, then the advice is to stay clear, okay, or you might regret it further on down the line. It's better to have no relationship than be in a bad one, okay? Alternatively, as I say, it might just be saying to take it slow. Keep it light and don't be too forceful or demanding with partners, okay? What we got next? The Chariot reversed. So this is a major arcana. This can advise you need patience, as indicated by the previous cards, not to act impulsively. Don't try to over-control the situation. Don't rush in and try to gain new commitments. This may be indicating, and as mentioned before, it's time to step back and retreat for a while. If you are in a relationship, then perhaps this is time to be clear with your partner and set up new boundaries with your partner. If you are really upset about something, or if you had to deal with pushy, forceful, or even abusive behaviour for some time now, this can either signify you're just starting to take up the reins to do something about it, or this can signify you're hesitating or procrastinating for some reason. And this can be saying, come on, the chariot's your life and you're the charioteer, so take action, start to dictate your own life, okay? If you are single, this can indicate a new partner is current or due, but it advises again not to rush into commitments or overcommit yourself emotionally or mentally. Just pay attention for any red flags. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you, cards. Move on to pile 4. Okay, so pile 4, what have we got? Chemistry. This can suggest there's a very strong and almost magnetic pull towards someone. And if you're already in a relationship, then obviously you need to be mindful about what you're doing. Think about the consequences if you're thinking about an affair, or if you're already in one. Alternatively, this could suggest that there's a lack of chemistry in your relationship that needs to be restored. If you are single, then this is the green light and the feeling is probably mutual. So it could be well worth exploring, or it could simply suggest you need to get out there and build chemistry if you are single and dating. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Okay, so we've got the Tower reverse. So this is a major. This can indicate you need to let go of maybe a failed relationship, which you might be a little reluctant to do so because it can cause some upheaval. Perhaps you're in a relationship, you've got a mortgage together, you might have children together, and obviously this can start to induce some fear. Perhaps you don't want the confrontation. This may, however, indicate there's a wound that you can't heal from. So the advice is to detach, so you can invite something in better. Okay? If you are single, this may indicate you're struggling to accept or you avoid dealing with or heal from a bad breakup. And although this experience may have been traumatic and painful, this is saying you need to put it in the past and move on. Okay? If you are dating someone with this mentality or pain still going on, this could be a warning for you to be careful for a future partner that might try to exploit this as a vulnerability, or it could be warning that you might put a good person off for being too defensive. So either way, make sure you've gotten over the past experience first. Okay. This could, however, indicate you've had an awakening, some kind of karmic rebirth recently, and you're starting to move on to better, or it could signify you're holding on to the past and hesitating in making the necessary changes to move forward. This could also signify there was a situation or an experience you found to be traumatic, and now you're in a better place with more optimism, or it could signify you're starting to rebuild yourself to get yourself there. Okay, so let's have a look what else we've got. Okay, so reconciliation. So this could be an ex-lover or someone you were close to and haven't spoken to for a while. This is very likely to be the first person that comes into your mind. And a reconnection here might bring about some kind of deepening attraction or a reconciliation to close unfinished business or past hurt or some sort. There's likely to going to be some apologies or new understandings and maybe some deepening mutual respect. Perhaps you were once lovers and split up and have both gone out and learnt more about the do's and don'ts, and there's likely going to be a lot of sentiment and affection there upon re-meeting this character. So let's have a look at what else we've got. Okay, so we've got the Father of Cups. Now, I feel that this is the person that especially this one, is talking about. Or if you are a male, this could be referring to you. He's often a mature male, well, emotionally mature male anyhow, probably mid-30s and upwards. It could be a water sign, but not necessarily. This person is this kind of person is probably one of the best husbands, lovers, fathers, or partners you could hope to meet. He probably possesses a wealth of spiritual knowledge. He might even be quite psychic. He's quite romantic, charming, loyal, very knowledgeable in all kinds of areas. He can be very generous with his time and his money, although that's kind of one of his weaknesses. Really, he can give away too much of himself. Plus, he doesn't like to ask for help, and he can you can be prone to depression every now and again, but on the whole, this is usually a very nice, very loving and caring man. So if that's what you're after, then this is a good omen. If you're in a relationship currently, this could be suggesting you need to be more open and honest with each other in regards to how you're feeling. Okay, so let's have a look what else we've got. It says flirt. So extend your light-hearted energy to others. This could be advising whether or not you're in a relationship, just to be playful and upbeat, which could revive a currently stagnant relationship, or this playfulness might attract new friendships and relationships if you are single. If you are single, this could signify, just a need to flirt, which doesn't have to be sexual in nature. It might just mean you need to make more eye contact, or just have a bit more confidence, smile through your eyes, extend positive gestures, compliments perhaps, or just have fun. And I think this is trying to suggest you to continue, or just give you a nudge. It might even be trying to give you a nudge on doing this with the person that you're interested in. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Last card. Okay, it's the Daughter of Swords. So this card is usually big on ideas, planning, communication, and with a strong need to tell the truth, or to be truthful with yourself. Okay, much like the flirt card, it could indicate you need to get out there and socialise if you are single. And this character tends to be alone, or it can indicate the relationship that you're looking for might take some time to come in. So it advises you to be patient as well, which is probably another one of her weaknesses. It advises you not to rush in to anything, and perhaps it's suggesting to let things evolve naturally. This card seems to have associations with the autumn, and the Father of Cups shares associations with Scorpio and November time. So perhaps you should think back to that period last year, and think about who you were interacting or communicating with. Or it can suggest that you might have to wait until that period this year for the news, for some kind of news you were hoping for, or maybe for the reconciliation with this person. It might take a little bit longer to happen. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's just have a look at the numbers. Okay, so there's just the 16 on the tower. So this is the most important one, really. It could be highlighting a need to shake things up. So ask yourself honestly, what's working for you, what's not working for you. Maybe this signifies you need to clear out some old illusions or stagnant energy relationships, or perhaps it's signifying that some kind of rebirth, a karmic rebirth is due, or could be heading, which might be unsettling at first, but usually with the Tower card it means that better things are going to come afterwards. Okay, so it could be just trying to push you out of your comfort zone. The situation might even be forced on you out of the blue, and it's trying to help you. Okay, it's trying to push you on to better. So if anything happens, or if there are any unexpected changes, there might not even be on the ground or physically around you. It could be an internal thing. The message is to stay positive, okay, because good things are stronger structures, stronger relationships, mindsets usually are the result after this. Okay, and I think that's it. So there you have it. I hope this was insightful. If anything resonated with you, then if you'd like to leave a comment, then feel free. I'm currently looking to get out at least one new video a week. So if you like this video and you would like to see more, then please click the subscribe and the alert button for new videos and updates. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you.